Hey, shalom to the hopeful elect. First and foremost, I'd like to give all honor, praises, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rachakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders at Great Millstone who teach the truth and rule well. This is Brother Yatab Yawa'ala coming back from the GMS SF Bay Area camp. I got a quick lesson today. All right, Lord's will is edifying. Just a response, video going around of the one body in Yahweh Shai or one body in Christ. I forget what they call themselves. Out of Dallas, all right, making this claim, their leader making this claim that we're not supposed to go out to the corners and teach Jacob and Esau, all right, but that's not scriptural, and obviously that's false. All right, we go out there, all right, from our apostles and elders on down here at Great Millstone to teach the truth, all right, and Jacob and Esau is part of the truth. All right, understanding prophecy, you got to know Jacob and Esau. You got to know the history. All right, understanding end time prophecy. What does it say? It says Esau is the end, and Jacob is the beginning of that. It that followeth. So that's just something that comes out, every so often because it's true. All right, now let me start with this. Is 2 Timothy 3:6, and again, what we're witnessing is these false prophets, these false teachers. Coming again, just spewing out madness, waxing worse and worse, sowing confusion. All right, because what does the Lord say? Now, let me get this. 2 Timothy 3 and verse 16, and it says, all scripture is given by inspiration of the Most High. All right, all scripture, everything. If it's the history, prayers, all right, prophecy, first and foremost. Okay, wisdom. All right, this is all profitable. It says all scripture is given by inspiration of the Most High. Yeah, it's in the scriptures for a reason, and it's profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness. All right, and that's the point. Jacob and Esau, that's the story in the scriptures, and it's profitable for doctrine. All right, so here it is. You're not supposed to go out in the corner and teach it. Well, hey, if the Spirit wants it to come out, what are you to deny the Spirit? All right. Well, real quick, let me get that real quick. See if I can find it. Yeah. First, straight to the point. What is this? Thessalonians? Yep. 1 Thessalonians 5:19. It says, "Quench not the spirit." All right. So what does that mean? Hey, if the Spirit wants to go into that, all right. Hey, you got Jakes coming up. May have never heard. They don't know what's going on, and you put a little history on them, and it helps them get the picture. All right, it helps them get the picture of what's going on. And again, Jacob and Esau, that's the main story. That's the main story of the scriptures. But here it is. We're not supposed to be bringing it out on the corners. It's madness. All right, let me jump back here. 2 Timothy 3:16. All scripture is given by inspiration of the Most High, and it's profitable. Yeah, it's profitable. All right. For doctrine, whether it comes out, in the street speakings or not. Okay, whether it comes out in the corner or not. For reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness, that the man of the Most High may be perfect, thoroughly furnished unto all good works. Now let me jump over here, Matthew 10, and yep. Here, let me just start at verse 5. It says, "These 12 Yahushua sent forth and commanded them, saying, Go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any of the Samaritans enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And as you go, preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out devils. Freely you have received, freely give." All right. So again, we have received this knowledge and wisdom, from Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai. We've been given this gift of faith. Who are we to hold back? All right. Oh, you know what? We're not going to talk about Jacob and Esau because we're out here on the corner. We got to wait till our sit down lesson. All right? Nah, that's not how it works. Again, that's quenching the spirit. All right? Hey, if the Spirit wants it to come out, it's going to come out, and it's all for edification. Let me see if I can find that. All right? This is what we're here to do is edify the elect. Now, if we have to go into history to do it, hey, then so be it. All right. Let me see. 1 Corinthians Salak. 1 Corinthians, I believe it's the 14th chapter. Let me see. 14 and 26. It says, how is it then, brethren, 1 Corinthians 14:26, how is it then, brethren, when you come together, every one of you have a psalm, have the doctrine, have the tongue, have the revelation, have an interpretation. Let all things be done unto edifying. And that's the main point, all right? What does edifying mean? All right, let's get that word. Oikodome, G3619. The act of building up, edifying, edification, the act of one who promotes another's growth in Hamashiachim wisdom, piety, happiness, holiness. A building, all right? And this is what it's about. Everything to the edifying, to the building of one's faith. Now, if you have to go into history, you know, for the elect to get the picture, and if it's out there on the corner, then so be it. All right? Who are you to quench the spirit? Who are you to say that it shouldn't come out on the corner? Hey, history comes out all the time. All right? That's part of the doctrine. That's part of preaching the gospel. Okay? That's part of getting that, what the scriptures say, with all that getting, get understanding. That's part of getting all the understanding. It's bringing it out when it needs to come out. Especially there on the corners. All right? Luke 14 and 23, and it says, and the Lord said unto the servant, go out into the highways and hedges and compel them to come in, that my house may be filled. All right? When you go into that highways, it goes to paths traveled. This is what we're commanded to do. Okay? Now again, you know, we read it in 2 Timothy. All scripture is given for it's all profitable. Now, if it happens to come out on the highways and byways, all right, on the corners, so to speak, all right, the chief place of concourse, then that's where it's going to come out. Okay, again, all for the edification of the elect. What if a brother has a question, you know, when it comes out, who is Jacob or who is Esau? Why is there contention between the two? Well, then you're going to bring out the story. You're going to bring out what's going on and how it's still going on to this day. All right, how it leads into prophecy. I mean, come on, you know, Jake is bugged out, especially those, you know, who know that they're Israelites. It's just you seeing that the Lord is clearly making that divide. All right. Now, real quick, let me just grab this. I believe it's Acts 7 chapter, because the Lord is dealing with the men on the corner. All right, especially, particularly, I should say, those in the correct 100% doctrine, not these bug outs. All right, Acts 7 and 48. Howbeit the Most High dwelleth not in temples made with hands, as saith the prophet. The Lord isn't in any of these buildings. All right, now that's not to take away from when brothers do sit downs. Hey, that's beautiful, but again, you can't take away from the fact that if it comes out, if the Spirit wants it to come out, then it's going to come out. And if it's edifying, it's edifying. Who are you to say that these things shouldn't come out when you're on the corner? That doesn't make sense. You know, I don't even know if these guys go out, but you know, they sound like they don't go out. All right, it sounds like they do everything in a building, which we just read it. Howbeit the Most High dwelleth not in temples made with hands, as saith the prophet. And these guys are known offenders. All right, you know, saying, hey, the Lord didn't do miracles. It was witchcraft. You know, a whole bunch of bugged out madness. Now here it is. You can't teach certain things on the corners. All right. These people are bugged out. I'm going to end off on this. This is Proverbs 1 and 20. And it says, wisdom crieth without. She uttereth her voice in the streets. This is where wisdom is gotten. All right. In the streets. You come across a video, more than likely you came across the apostles doing lessons outside, or you walked outside, you know, you're going shopping, whatever. You came across the apostles, the elders, men teaching the doctrine. All right. She crieth in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates. In the city she uttereth her words, saying, all right, the chief place of concourse. These corners, especially these main business corners, all right, where you get a lot of foot traffic. Saying, how long, ye simple ones, will you love simplicity, and the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. And again, Jacob and Esau, that's knowledge. All right? Understanding that, you know, that ancient, you know, hatred, how Esau has that to this day. All right? You know, the promises that Esau got, the promises that Jake got, understanding that Esau's in control now and he still has this hatred, understanding that Jake's next to rule. You know, you go across these scriptures and it always comes out. All right, every so often it does come out. And it is edifying. All right, it gives you the history, it gives you knowledge. But what did it say? Fools hate knowledge. It says, turn ye at my reproof, behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you, I will make known my words unto you. And anything in the scriptures is the Lord's words. It doesn't have to say, thus saith the Lord, like some groups tell you. If it's in the scripture, what did we just read? All scripture is profitable. All right? It says, I will make my words known unto you, because I have called and you refused. I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded. But you have set not all my counsel with none of my reproof. I will also laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. When your fear cometh as desolation and your destruction cometh as whirlwind. When your distress and anguish cometh upon you. And that's pretty much the point. All right, those who don't take heed, those who don't want to, turn from, doing wickedness, they don't want to hearken. All right? They can't take rebuke. They can't take reproof. All right? Especially coming from the Lord. Then what's going to happen when all hell breaks loose, when the Lord just lets loose judgment? All right? But again, you're witnessing that these evil men waxing worse and worse, and their mouths are going to be stopped. All right? The Lord is going to stop these false prophets' mouths. Because, here it is, you're taking back things that come out in that are edifying. All right? That if the Spirit wants it to come out, it's going to come out. Especially on the corner. Okay? Now, Lord's will, this was edifying. Like I said, I just wanted to do this quick lesson. A little response. I didn't get to watch the whole video from the elder, Manat Zakba. But, hey, these people are bugged out. All right? These false prophets are getting more and more bugged out. And if it's supposed to come out, the Lord wants it to come out, it's going to come out. All right? Who are we to quench the spirit? Okay? But here it is. You see examples of men thinking that they got it all. Thinking that they can tell you when certain things are supposed to come out. When you're supposed to go to the corner. All right? But hey, what does the scripture say? All right? Hey, again, Lord's will, this is edifying. Once again, I want to give all honor, praises, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakhakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders at Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect and above all.